The shareholding in DBS, as we sit here, is 15% held by the government of the Republic of Botswana and 85% held by Anglo in all its other shape and formations. If, and in any corporate or commercial setting, Botswana wants more shares, it obviously will approach the majority shareholder and say, we are ready to buy. Let's do a valuation. We want to buy 30% of your shares.
Why buy?
Buy because this is a shareholding. It's proprietary.
Botswana new President Duma, is already in office making changes already, which is great news. He's going to give Africans who is living in Botswana illegally working permits and residency permit, specifically Zimbabweans, because there's an influx of Zimbabweans in Botswana, and he's going to make sure they are legal and can work. But take a listen to what he said in this interview, and then we're going to dissect it. Boom.
The issue of Zimbabwe.
Yeah. We've got to approach the issue of Zimbabwe somewhat dispassionately. Leave our emotions out of it and deal with the facts. What are the facts? The facts are there is, without any doubt, an influx of people from Zimbabwe into Botswana. They end up taking up the most menial of jobs. As a matter of fact, many of the jobs that they end up taking are jobs that our own people are not desirous. There's no serious appetite on our citizens for these jobs. And there's nothing wrong with not liking a particular job. And therefore, when an opening arises, you're not interested. But we also must acknowledge that there will be somebody else, either out of desperation or whatever reason, who will be interested in taking this job. And so that person comes in, without any doubt. How did this person come in? They came in illegally. But they are doing the job. They are already here. What do? We can choose to spend money and send this person back. The moment you leave this person at the border, they cross back, and by the evening they are here. So are we succeeding? No. How then do we deal with this situation? We could deal with it and when they are illegal like that, because they are hiding, they end up involved in crime. They end up exploited. And this exploitation makes it even more unappealing because they will take this job for next to nothing. And so the employers, those who have these jobs, who are hiring them, prefer them to citizens because the citizen will want more. So there is a demand for people who will work for a pittance. So they themselves are exploited. Why are they exploited? They are outside the protection of the law because in the first place, when they came in, they placed themselves outside the protection of the law. So we want to deal with this thing and say, let us allow you to come in legally. This is not to go and invite and say, just come and run us over. No.
It means you are not saying open borders.
No. We're not saying that. We are saying we recognize the challenge. Let us deploy strategies and approaches that are appropriately fashioned to deal with it so that they do not pose a security risk to us and to our people. Then they can be within the law. They can be controlled either by way of a temporary work and residence permit or a much longer term work and residence permit. We can control, we can manage them, we can account for them.
So there you have it. He's saying, but first thing I like, he said that take the emotions of it when it comes on to deportation or legalizing people to work. He's saying they're already there working. They're already there and they're doing menial jobs, which mean like cleaners, cashiers, jobs like that. So he's saying they're already here and they're already working and they're being taken advantage of by being used and paying less for the same job that if they're paying a citizen. So he's gonna what? Give them work permit, give them residency permit, have them come into the fold and pay taxes. And he's gonna make a pathway for citizenship and a pathway if you want to come to work, you can come legally to work. So he's not talking about open borders. He's saying We're going to protect our country, yes, but at the same time, we're going to be humane about it. We're going to make sure everyone is legal, everyone is working, and then from this point on, if you want to come into Botswana to work, you come here legally, you can apply, and you can get through, which is great news. Julius Malema tried this in during election time when he said that he should give Africans living in South Africa working permit so they can work, you can know who they are, vet them, and make sure they are working and paying taxes. He was chastised by other party members, and this is what we need. But anyway, I digress. Let's go back to the Botswana issue. I like the fact that Abraham Chori have paved the way, have laid a blueprint for African leaders to actually step up. And this is what we are seeing more and more. You have more and more elections happening and younger people become president and they are actually stepping up and actually making a difference in their country, which is what this country, the continent is longing for. Thanks be to Abraham Chori for leading the way. We only needed one, and we have more than one now, so that's great news. Anyway, he also spoke of increasing Botswana's diamond percentages in the diamond industry because they're getting it's 85% to the multinational groups, De Beers, and 15% for Botswana citizens, which is a horrible deal because Botswana have one of the biggest diamond mines in the world. So anyway, let's take a listen to some more of what he's talking about this in the interview. He laid it out. He break it down a little bit so you can understand it. So let's take a listen and then we're gonna dissect it. Take a listen. Boom.
Mr. President, still on the issue of diamonds, in terms of the talk, the issue of the shareholding, there was a proposal in terms of changing of the shareholding structure with De Beers, or now I can say those who have taken over De Beers. Do you agree that you have to change the agreement?
Look, the agreement is being discussed now. The shareholding in De Beers, as we sit here, is 15% held by the government of the Republic of Botswana and 85% held by Anglo in all its other shape and formations. If, and in any corporate or commercial setting, Botswana wants more shares, it obviously will approach the majority shareholder and say, we are ready to buy. Let's do a valuation. We want to buy 30% of your shares.
Why buy?
Buy because this is the shareholding. It's proprietary. The 85% shareholder is a property holder. These shares, incorporeal property that they are property. So if you want to acquire somebody's property, you've got to pay compensation. That's what the Constitution of this republic says. That's what property law dictates. So you're going to have to go to them and engage.
Are you going to do
with
that?
A view to? That's a different proposition altogether. The real proposition right now is Anglo has taken a decision that it wants to sell its shares or demerge its operations. One, are we able to buy? If we want to buy, then there's nothing that stops us. Why? Because we have a right of first refusal. Do we have the money to buy? That's the question. Has a valuation been made which is reasonable and fair and commercially sound? That's another question. But critically, the value of De Beers, without any doubt, is dependent on the existence of a contract between itself and the government of Botswana. So we need first to anchor that property, which is De Beers, which is the mining, by concluding the contract between it and the government of Botswana. As matters stand, there are a few outstanding issues which could not be resolved until the previous regime left. We are in the process now, and we've made overtures. We want those issues resolved at the earliest. If we could resolve them by the end of this coming week, it would be excellent. Because if they are not resolved, they pose an existential threat to Botswana in terms of its revenue earning capabilities. So we are alive to this. We are engaging actively with our partners in De Beers to address these issues and address them as quickly as possible. So we will. In my brief encounter with the delegation from DBS Anglo yesterday, we both expressed a commitment to resolving these issues as quickly as possible. And a resolution, and I'm not being overly presumptuous or preemptive, may result in a situation where our own shareholding increases.
So there you have it. He's telling you how they're gonna go about garnering more percentages in the beers. And as I say, you can just go and take it from them because it's shareholders. And I agree with him. You cannot just go and just tell a company give back this and without compensating them. They need to be compensated. This is what Abraham Traore did in Burkina Faso when he retook 2 gold mines from the multinational group. What he did, he compensated them for their troubles and he paid them. I think it was like 60 million he paid for the 2 gold mines to get it to get it back fully 100%. So he's going along this trajectory and I agree with it. Don't just talk about you're gonna want to take it as if we're not savages. No, we're not gonna do that. So he's right. They're gonna garner capital, buy back percentages in negotiating tables, see what you can get. If you can get 30%, 35%, which is great, and also teach your own people how to do the whole industry, which they already have that knowledge by preparing it, mining it, cleaning it, cutting it, setting it, and then sell it locally, so that people can come in, as he said, and go to the go to a store and pick up a diamond um, from Botswana instead of you have to go through the beers and they have to send it a whole. He explained everything fully how the diamond industry goes, and this is what we have been yearning for. African countries gaining control of the resources. Stop getting it um no, stop getting the multinationals coming in there and running things. And the former president did some work on this by garnering more percentage, but not as lot. But I think that's one of the reasons why the people kind of vote him out because he wasn't aggressive enough. But he wasn't a bad president. Botswana Masisi, he was not a bad president. He was actually a decent president, and he did good as he could to his people by, for one, he education in Botswana is free all the way to the university level. If you have to travel to the next country to study, they pay for this for board. They give you money to keep you, and they pay for your the university. So that was a good thing from the former president, and this one gonna continue. So this is also great because he said he also spoke of expanding Botswana's um reach instead of just having the diamonds interdependent. They're gonna have a multifaceted economy by maybe growing economy, having tourism, and I'm along those lines. As I'm sure as he goes on, he's gonna explain and broaden his view and tell them exactly what he's gonna do to do that. But this is what we want: presidents actually stepping up, not just talking. No more. The days of talking is over. We want action, and then we see actions being taken here. And also, he spoke of the democracy, how the transition of power was smooth, and how um, the former president Masisi, he said this in an interview, but I won't play the whole thing because then this video will be too long. I'm gonna explain to you. He's saying that when Masisi realized he was gonna lose, there was no. He called him and said, "Congratulations, he's gonna concede. He's not gonna push anything." And transfer of power was so smooth because again, President Masisi was not the ex-president. No, he was not a bad president. He wasn't one of the puppets. He was actually fighting for Zimbabwean citizens, but maybe he wasn't fighting hard enough because his his party have been in power for 58 years. So I think they kind of have some complacency, but he wasn't bad because he used to fight against colonizers. He stood up for Botswana citizens, and again, he make sure schooling for his people was free to the university level. So he did do some good, and this person now gonna must it just all he gonna this person now is gonna just adds on and maybe broaden his scope, which is what we need. So anyway, so let me know what I think about this. What I think about the president of Botswana, the new president Duma Boko, gonna give Zimbabweans Zimbabweans working permit and a residency to reside in Botswana to continue working and take them out of the cold from being used and being abused by businesses. And he also blaming the business. He's not blaming the people. He's blaming the businesses who are hiring these people and then treating them unfairly, which is what we need to clean up on the continent as well. Unfair treatments by other Africans, which is it's happening slowly, but it's happening. So we are happy for that. And thanks be to Abraham Traore to lead the way to show them how it's done. Anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comment section about the new Botswana president. So far, he seems like he's going in the right direction. I'm still waiting on President Faye, President Faye of Senegal. He haven't done anything apart from ordering an audit so far. I'm still waiting on him because he is not doing what he's promised he was gonna do when he was campaigning and then when he was out of power and he was saying what he gonna do and what changes he gonna make in Senegal. So far we haven't seen no changes. So let's hope he gather his senses and step up to the plate. Anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comment section. Boom.